motion to reconvene into open session.
Motion by Sanchez.
Second.
Second by Tanksley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At 7. Action taken in closed session. We voted to reject the claim 9/17/18. Okay. Oh, 19, I'm sorry. 9/17/19. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Board members present, I am here, Larry Tanksley is here, Yolanda Sanchez is here, Dr. Carol Robinson is here, Jim Bender is here, and Wayne Moore is here. And who do we have from Gutierrez is Rosamond. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Sanchez,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Bender. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Student?
Aye.
Do we have any requests for?
No, we don't.
Thank you. Student board member.
Oh,
Your turn.
that's me. Okay, so,
Well, you could let them go first sometimes.
well, okay, well, my name was first. You wanna go first? You can. No, you go.
I just wanted to say that these past TMS meetings have been busy. We have discussed about the athletic spending funds, request to El Pijon volleyball tournament, and the volleyball tournament is on October 19th. Also, this year Tropical Middle School will have Awareness Week during Red Ribbon Week, October 21st through October 25th. During the announcements, there will be information regarding each of the different illnesses. We will have the following. October 21st, Monday, spinal bifida, everyone wear a yellow shirt. October 22nd, Tuesday, autism will wear a blue shirt. October 23rd, Wednesday, cancer awareness, everyone will wear a pink shirt. October 24th, Thursday, seizures and epilepsy, everyone will wear a purple shirt. October 25th, Friday, drug-free and no bleeding, everyone will wear a red shirt. We will also have first period door decorations contest, winner will receive a pizza party. We will be giving away to all of the students a water bottle and earbuds in a small red or black bag on Wednesday during first period. Cadet courts will be placing the red ribbon around the fence. Yeah.
Okay, now I can go? So, on Friday, October 4th, we have the CSU people coming to help students apply for college because, you know, that's a very, very rigorous process. Yesterday, we had the ASVAB testing in the library, and we had 47 students take the test. We started a new club called the Green Thumb Club because when we had NPLDW, or, yeah, that thing, they did a garden, and they, process. They had a garden, and over the summer it went dead, so now we're starting a club for people who like gardening so they can do it. Seniors did their paintings. We finished Senior Square. Homecoming is going to be Midnight Masquerade, and tickets are $8. Last day for seniors to get their portrait in the yearbook is Friday, October 5th, and yearbook had their fundraiser, which went great, Mr. Hansen said. And from October 7th to the 23rd, students and parents can donate money to vote which staff member gets a pie in the face during the homecoming pep rally. Girls volleyball and tennis both had games yesterday and they both won. They have lots of games in the upcoming weeks, 2 home. Next Tuesday and Thursday are home. Girls basketball starts conditioning on October 14th after school from 2:30 to 4. And conditioning for softball will start on November 2nd for Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 to 5. And then Powder Puff started their practices and cheer and all that this week. And go Seniors.
What day is that homecoming?
It's Friday, October 26th is the dance, and the 25th is the game.
Can you give us the date?
Okay.
25th, 7 p.m.
When's conference?
Wednesday the 23rd. Oh, and one more thing. We had our WASC parent meeting last night, which was long, but it was good. It was hard, but it was good. We made it through it. That's all that matters.
You get all the parking spots painted?
Yes, we did.
Awesome. Seen you guys out there the other day.
Board members, Carol?
Okay, so, I'm going to apologize in advance because, my mother is very ill. She's in the hospital. She's 97 years old. And so I'm going to be splitting my time between here and Bakersfield until there's some sort of resolution to her illness. Which means that I'm not going to be able to be attending things that I would normally want to attend. So I'm sorry, I can't make it to things.
Thank you everybody for coming out tonight, and I think everything's going really well. Been visiting some of the school sites again, and we've changed the flow of the traffic over at West Park there. I think give it a month or so and see how it goes. And it's always difficult when you first do a change like that. So let's give it a month and we'll look at it and see how it goes. That's all.
I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming. Tennis, girls tennis, first time they beat Desert ever, so kudos to them. They were really excited. I couldn't do it when I was a coach, so Mr. DeCap pulled them through. Went out to get a Title I presentation with Mr. Meza and Ms. LaRue's crew, and they're trying to make me smarter. It's a hard job, that I know. They gave me a lot of good information, and they put on a good show, so thank you for that. Spend some time with me. And then mural, I noticed a mural at RHS that is Artstone, and it looks pretty amazing, and it's pretty big, so if you get a chance, go check that out. It's where the lockers used to be when you come around the corner from the library. It's along that whole wall. It looks pretty amazing, so they're doing some good things out there, so if you get a chance, check it out. That's all I have.
I just want to say thank you all for coming, and I just appreciate each one of the administrators and teachers and principals and vice principals. And especially I want to thank the classified people, because without them we would not be able to start school on time. And I just want to give kudos to them, classified personnel. Thank you.
Well, I think took all the thunder. Thanks everybody for coming. Ed, give us a little update on how things are going with that change.
It's going. No, I think it's actually been productive. The mornings have gone a lot quicker. Today we actually, I know Ms. Gaines had come out, I believe yesterday, and she observed some of our lovely parents are still getting out of the car, putting backpacks on the little ones and stuff like that. But it's dwindled down. In the mornings, this morning we had a couple of lulls where we actually had no cars out there from like 7:22, 7:26. And then all of a sudden at 7:30, a whole bunch. But we were able to close off the chute and during the day because we had some concerns about the cars pulling up because people get there at about 11:30. They got to be sure they're first to get their kid at 1:25. So, yeah, oh yeah, they wait there for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We almost had a parent fight today because a car pulled up and became first, but the lady who was second now is third, so they were screaming at each other. So I went out there and kind of got them to understand that all three of them are going to wind up in the chute at the first chute together. But our dismissal is a little bit more rocky. But I was just laughing with one of our PTA ladies here, Miss Gina, that I think a lot more of our kids are walkers now. And the parents are parking in the neighborhood, and they're kind of just walking out to them. I saw a lot more people using our back gate today, where the cars are pulled up along the West Park park back there. And I was actually done before the walkers were all done today from the back. And I've been doing all the back stuff, and Miss Lacey's been out front. So it's going. And I do think that if you give it just a little bit more time, it'll be a success. And if not, then we're going to tweak some things. We've slowly been realizing that there's, you know, like with the chute with people lining up, we totally spaced on that. All right, so now we just moved some cones and stuff. But I think we're making the tweaks where they need to be, and listening to our PTA, listening to our even the students, and seeing what's working, what's not working. Next week, I think will be a good barometer. Again, I was talking to our PTA, and because they won't be there to help us. You know, they were really just out this first week. But now our staff's also stepped up, so they've been, you know, even when they're walking campus, just kind of redirecting the kids and stuff like that. And we have an awesome staff, so I think it's just give it some time.
We started selling smoothies to the people that line up.
I am not, and I know you want it, but I actually said to our PTA, because they're starting our fall festival October 11th, fall festival Friday night, starts at 5 o'clock. But I said you should set up a table along 35th Street at Imperial and just start selling some tacos, some water bottles. You could raise some money for the, you know, for the PTA out there. I mean, people. Yeah, have some lunch for the people. I mean, make some good money.
I think we also on that, you know, we're building the track on the opposite end of the school there.
Yes.
They're going to be put in, we need to get the request in for some crosswalks and also get another crosswalk on the other side.
And we have already put that in. So we did, when we did meet with the county, I did ask CHP to be out there today. We're pretty sure they might have been out there in an unmarked car. I asked the sheriff to come out, and I know about the crosswalks, but I asked the sheriff to come out today. But due to the speeding and the traffic violations is really what the concern really is that the sheriff's department really said that they can't do much. It's CHP's jurisdiction. I wasn't aware of that. I'm coming from New York. I just, NYPD, that's it. So I really didn't know. But CHP is being, Mr. John Williams, I believe his name, has been really helpful with us. And when we did have that meeting, we talked about getting the striping, getting the crosswalks in the back, getting crosswalks over by 40th. Now, and of course then it comes down to who wants to pay for it, the county, or do they want to make the projects pay for it? So that's a county thing. They're all up to, but we did put in the request though, for the crosswalks.
We're getting the track built, so they
Right.
should have paid for it.
Right, and I think that's
the to make them go out there and make them pay
right,
for it.
and I think that's what the county's point was, is that they're going to have to do it. So, you know, just give them some time. All right, you know, as long as it's going to get done, because they're also going to start doing that building right behind our school on Holiday. They're breaking ground on that pretty shortly. So we're also going to have 2 tracks.
That's something we need to push. Get that done before they build their houses.
Mr. Torres, your turn.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nino Torres. I am the principal of the Alternate Education Program. For those of you that don't know what Alternate Education is, I am principal of both Abraham Lincoln Independent Study School and Rare Earth High School. Independent Study is a program that is used for students, children, who are not able to attend their comprehensive school, either for personal or medical reasons. So at the present moment, I have a staff of 4, 3 general ed teachers, 1 special ed teacher, and we service all the kids. We see them for 1 or 2 hours a week, and we're very fortunate. We were given a grant over the summer, so we were able to hire a tutor to help out with some of the students that are behind or falling behind. They have additional support, because with only 1 or 2 hours a week, it's not always everything that the student needs. So we're very fortunate to have that. At Rare Earth, we're high school. We have all these kids. Some of them are there because they have become credit deficient or behind at Rosamond High School. And my staff and I have the pleasure and the honor of getting them caught up so they can go back to Rosamond High School, which is where they all want to graduate from. But the ones that don't make it all the way, we are very proud, very happy to give them a diploma in June of their senior year. We are WASC accredited, and with the addition of our new program of ACELUS, we are also A through G approved and NCAA compliant, just like RHS. So that is also another benefit that we can offer our students who don't have an opportunity to return to to Rosamond High School. ACELUS is a new program we got this year, and the students really love it. We have seen an increase in the number of completions of classes. ACELUS is a computer program that allows the student to work at their own pace. They are given an opportunity to complete the work. They can take their exams. They take their notes. It's a combination of reading a digital textbook in addition to video, which offers both instruction and intervention. The kids love it. They have the opportunity to go back, review something if they don't understand it, and on top of that, they have their teacher in the classroom at every period as an additional support. One of the beauties of ACELUS that we love, that A+, our former program, didn't allow us, is ACELUS has an entire special education component to it. So the students that we have that are special ed, they have the opportunity to come in, meet with their special ed teacher and his paraeducator, but the classes are also designed to be supportive for them at their educational level. So it gives them something where their frustration level has reduced, and we're seeing that they are a lot more receptive to taking the help. But when the teacher is, let's say, approached by 2, 3 different students, they have the intervention videos, they have other components to the program that allows them to continue to be successful. What I'd like to do is I'd like to take you through a brief tour of the ACELUS screen and maybe a practice class, both from the teacher, administrator side, and also from the student side. I had a student that was supposed to come out here and help me out with that. Unfortunately, she fractured her finger, so I'm going to assume that she hasn't made it back from the ER yet. So with that, I'm going to just borrow Sal's computer. So every morning, the teachers will come in and they go into parent-teacher sign-in, which is already loaded in there, and then and then of course it doesn't always work because I can't type. So as an administrator, as a teacher, I have the option, teachers have the option to either check on Rare Earth or Abraham Lincoln. So for this demonstration, we'll go into Rare Earth. So this is what every teacher looks at every morning. This is what I have an opportunity to look at. The My Desk is what we're looking at right now. Every teacher, before they can start on the first day, goes through teacher development. It takes them through an online orientation, and they have to be certified. When they get done with the certification, the teachers, as well as the students, get a certificate of completion. So I printed one up. You'll see one when we bring it up also. Live monitor is something that the teachers and I love. It gives us an It's going to tell us what they're working on, how they're working on it, whether they're goofing off, they're not goofing off, and when they get to the end of a unit, a chapter, or a midterm, it will tell the student that their program is locked and they have to approach an administrator or a teacher to unlock it, at which time we get to proctor it. So at that time, the student will show us their notes that they've taken, we review to make sure they've completed all the necessary steps, and then we open it up and they can take the exam. At the end of the exam, what it will do is it will give them their score. If they score under a 65, they have to retake it. But before retaking it, they go into something that's called exam recovery. What exam recovery does is it'll go over and review all the sections, all the questions that they were not successful in. And the students then at that point will go in and they will review what they did wrong. They have a video to go over that. And if they still need more additional help, under live monitor, it will say needs help. The teacher can immediately approach them and then just give them one-on-one time. I've done that a couple of times. It's really, really neat. You can watch the video over with the kids, or you can just go direct instruction because it actually shows them what they did and where they didn't maybe properly read the question or they just rushed through it. So it gives us that option. Classes will just, is what it says. It shows us all the classes. Students, we can bring them up, their grade book. It gives them their running grade. It would say, like in English 1, that they've completed 27%. Their grade is a B, and this is how many lessons they've completed, how many exams they've completed. So it gives us full access. The other thing that we love, the parents love, the kids don't love as much, is there's a button for parent registration. The parent can come up and say, Mr. Torres, I would like access to my student's account or my child's account. We put in their email account. It will alert them when the student has not gone to one of their classes. It will alert them when their grade is dropped below a D. And the best part is if they come and they say, Mr. Gutierrez, how did you do in school today? Oh, I just tore it up. I did tons of work. The parent lines it up and the progress bar says 2% over 6 hours. That's a whole different conversation to have over dinner. But the parents love it. Special lessons. A lot of times some of our students need a little extra credit, a little extra support. You go into a special lesson and it...
Sorry.
That's okay.
Can you tell how many parents are logged in?
How many parents? No. Unfortunately, it will not tell me how many parents have logged in or looked at that. But usually we can tell by the next morning because the students usually come in either asking for extra credit or asking if we can carve out some time for them. We had one student come in at 7:30 one morning and say, can I please log in? And we said, school starts today. He goes, you don't understand, my mom's going to be here in 20 minutes. Can I please log in? So we know that it's working. We know that it's getting, some of the parents are enjoying it. Exactly how many, we're working with the sellers because they're constantly asking for our feedback. What can we do? So we give them suggestions of classes that are more relevant for our kids. We've also said, is there a way we can track parent participation? And it was kind of funny. They said no one's ever asked that. So their software developers are working on another button to give me that option to pull up the report either weekly or monthly. It probably start off monthly, which I'm okay with for now. We also have a built-in library. So if a student is, let's say a teacher comes in and for English 11 decides they want to assign where the red fern grows. I think my favorite excuse is, oh, my parents won't take me to the library. Not a problem. We go to the online library. We sit there and just assign them that book to every student in that class, and they have a digital copy of whatever book we want them to read and participate in English class. So we've taken that away. Curriculum, it basically will break it down because this program is K-12. I can sit there and designate it to only high school. And the biggest advantage we have right now is in previous years, alternative ed has been limited to the electives we can offer. We can now offer French, German, and Spanish. And it is taught by an accredited or licensed language teacher. At the end of it, they take the exam. We also have some options that we're working with the state to build CTE pathways, because the other option that our students have is that they can take electrical technology. And the reason we were trying to build a pathway is the kids are doing all the work, they're getting all the practice, but they're not getting the certificate of completion. I mean, they get that they finished the class, but it's not the same if they took it at the high school. By building a CTE pathway in electrical technology, plumbing, and HVAC technology, which is basically HVAC repair, so they can get that, then that gives them an opportunity, just like the high school, to go out and seek an apprenticeship, to go out and get their foot in the door, or someone who says, I want to be a plumber, versus one of my students that says, I want to be a plumber, and this is everything I've done, and this is how I've been certified. So we're looking to give them every advantage, especially with all the new construction, to be able to get in there and be competitive when they graduate from Rare Earth. So you can see we have all the classes, it's on different levels. We're really excited about that. The SED, if I can see, what is it? I lost it. The SED for pre-algebra, the SED just stands for special education. And again, it's the same curriculum, the same requirement, it's just taught at a less rigorous pace to give them an opportunity for more support and more intervention. Because we want to make sure that when they learn this, they get it. It's not just something they fulfill to get credits, it's something that's building a foundation so they will know how to do algebra when the time comes. So now I'm just going to take you really quickly into our demo class for students, because we built one of these. We like the parents to be able to play with it whenever they get a chance. Let's see. Okay, let's go to demo Spanish 1. That way we're not affecting anybody's grades. Well, when the student starts out, she comes out here and she's going to sit there and talk about how Spanish is not just Spanish. We also don't speak Spanish in Mexico. There's various Latin American countries. She talks about dialect. And then as the steps go through, she continues by explaining how you build vocabulary, and then it just builds lesson on lesson. See if I can stop her just for a second because we're not getting on.
Sorry.
That's okay. If a student needs some additional support or whatever, they have the resource section. It will sit there, the teacher can build in whatever they need. And the student can always stop and go into there. She will download the textbook, she will download intervention videos, so that if a student gets stuck, they can go in there and say, okay, she's talking too fast for me, and they can pull up the textbook, and then it's a split screen. She's talking, they're reading, so they get a better opportunity, access to the information. Under help, it's got lesson videos where it says on here, if we were in a real class, it's broken down by chapter. It's just a reinforcer video. It'll go back and explain what she said in a different way and just give them extra opportunities for them to be able to understand what they're doing. So in a nutshell, that's what Acellus does. We're excited about that. The kids excited. We thought, and the teachers all talked about this over the summer, we thought it was hokey that they said, oh, we're going to get a certificate that says Acellus course completion certificate. It has their name. It tells them what they completed, the date they completed, with the seal for Acellus. We have kids literally coming into the office and going, Mr. Johansson didn't print out my certificate. Can you do that, Mr. Torres? And I'm going, yeah. And I go in there and it shows me where they completed the course. They're great. We print that up and they actually wait to get it off the copier, and they go back and they just stick it in the folder. Or they go to their friends and they're going, beat you. You know, most people sit there and think, oh, okay, they're dogging at each other. No, they are actually competing on who can get more of these. And the best part is they sit there to get this, they go, can you initial this, Mr. Torres? And I'll go, why? Because my mom will think that I forged it. And you go, okay, no. So I mean, a lot of times you just call the mom and go, hey, I am so proud of your son. He did this. He worked really, really hard. He was paid, you know, his schedule, he's going to be finished by a quarter. He's done 2 weeks early. And then the mom goes, oh, so that certificate is real. I go, yeah, absolutely, that's real. So we have 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders with this hanging up on the refrigerator. So right next to the kindergarten's artwork, they have the Acellus certificate of completion. And that's Acellus in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, great report, I wanted to know that.
You know, Mr. Brown, come down and play with it. That demo is all for you.
Well, you did hear my apology,
Well, when you get time. It's not going anywhere. Thank you.
I will sometime.
Part 3A. You go first.
All right. I don't even have any notes, so this is going to be a problem. The issue regarding the new transportation system over at West Park has been brought up and discussed. I just want to give a little bit of a feedback on that. Yes, I'm hearing a lot of concerns and a lot of complaints. I agree, we're only 2 days into it, 3 days into it. We'll see how it goes over the course of the next week or two. The biggest issue I have from an RTA standpoint is the complete lack of teacher involvement in this whole process. Teachers weren't aware that there was a problem with the original system. Teachers were not brought in as part of discussing what are the issues and how can we improve this. The leadership team had no knowledge of it until there was an email saying, here's the new transportation system that we're putting in place, and that's a huge frustration. You've got teachers who've been there with doing after-school duty since the opening of West Park. You've got teachers who've been there doing after-school duty for the last 5 or 6 years. For the most part, teachers have developed a lot of the processes and procedures going on. At the beginning of the year, as teachers, all we usually get is a duty schedule. Here, you have duty at this time in this area, with no rhyme or reason or direction or description of what that duty entails. And teachers have been the ones over the years at West Park and at Rosamond Elementary and other sites saying, well, okay, we've got all of these students out here, here's how we have to try to deal with it, and they develop the procedures and programs for that. So to not be included in the discussions about what the problems were and how can we solve those problems and just have this massive change thrust upon them is a huge disappointment. Teachers are now doing double the amount of duty that they had done in the past. I know Mrs. Lacey has told people that they can leave after their regular amount of duty time, although a teacher's not going to leave their duty when there are still 200 students standing there. They're just not going to do it. So, but there was a follow-up email saying, but if you want to volunteer your extra time, that would be wonderful and great. So yeah, we've got a long way to go on that. But the bottom line is, if we look at major changes in programs, it sure would be nice that teachers are part of the dialogue, so that we make sure we don't take something that has minor problems and turn it into something with major problems. I've always been a strong advocate of it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We just try to improve it a little bit. So without knowing what the problems are, I'm not at the site. I'm just getting a lot of feedback from the people who are having to deal with this. We've got a long way to go. I hope it improves. And if not, maybe we will be part of the discussion the next time around. And that's it. Thanks.
CSEA?
Hey everybody. To jump right off of that, we did get a lot of concerns from our CSOs and people that are out there trying to direct traffic. These members, they weren't part of the discussion either, and there's a lot of safety issues that they see, handling all of these cars. They're off grounds, off school grounds. If anything happens, who's liable in that situation? There's a lot of concerns, and for us to just be thrust into it without having any sort of discussion as a team, it is a problem. We need to have all the ideas out there. We can't just make these big changes without, having everybody on board to kind of get all perspectives, because when we're just in one position, it's hard to see other people's perspectives and how, how it might affect them when they're out there doing their duties. On a lighter note, it's good to see everybody out here. There's a nice crowd. CSEA, we had an orientation for our new members, which we haven't had in, I don't know how long. So it was very, refreshing to get our new members in here and be able to explain to them, what our union is and what we do for them, what kind of benefits that they get from our union. And a lot of the, past years, we get people that they don't really realize what the union does and what they could benefit out of that. And then a lot of people don't really want to sign up or be involved in the union. But everybody that came to the orientation was very excited about it. They wanted to sign up right there after, my wonderful speech. I try to boast about that, but I'm sure it was very dry. But all in all, it went over really well, and I hope that we could do that periodically. Because it looks like, we got more positions being flown for some CSOs for our after-school program. So hopefully we can do another orientation in a few months. And as we get out of our financial crisis, then we'll, start hiring more as people rotate in and out. And, our orientations, they will be bigger and better. Let's see. We have our contract negotiations coming up. CSEA is going to be having a special meeting. We're hoping for the 8th. We're still working out those details, but what's going to be happening is we're going to be opening up 2 articles on top of our regular articles that always open. And at our meeting, we're going to see if our members agree with those articles being opened. And if we could all agree on what kind of changes we need in our contract, then from there we'll go to the district and we'll start sitting down and discussing. We don't predict it's going to be a very long, drawn-out process for these contracts. It's just kind of refreshing.
How many new members did you have attend?
So I think we had 10 new members altogether, but in attendance we had 5, which isn't too bad. 50%. I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, so our contract negotiations should be really quick. We don't foresee any issues, but we'll keep everybody in the loop as to what's going on with that. And this year, we want to reach out to the seniors at the high school. We don't exactly have like a list of sorry, let me back up. CSEA, we tried to do like a senior scholarship, all right? And seniors will write in an essay, and we grant them some money for college, right? But typically it goes to a senior that is also son or daughter of a CSEA member. So we kind of need to put our feelers out there to the CSEA and the seniors to kind of see who might be a candidate for that. And our idea might be, if we don't have a candidate, then maybe just put it out for all of them, because I think we should be benefiting or helping out our community as much as we can, not so much just ourselves. So to us reaching out to you soon, and we'll try to get that going, because we're also looking for fundraising. And if seniors are interested in trying to get a bigger, better scholarship for that, then maybe they'd be interested in helping out with some of the fundraising. But aside from that, I think that's it. So thanks again for everybody being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
We're going to skip E. Social Superintendent Barbara.
Thank you all for coming. Our good news at the Ed Services is that our federal addendum was approved. So if you remember, we started that process back in June, where we had to write a proposal for Title I. There were 3 parts of Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. And then when we sent it up to CDE, they send it back to us and, okay, let's revise this and let's revise that. And we would bring it back, for board approval once we had those revisions. But for the longest time, we were waiting on the Title IV office. And so I sent them a little email saying, hey, I know you guys are real busy, but, and so they did, we did find out last Thursday that all of our areas were approved. So I'll put that together in its entirety and bring that back so you can read it together.
Superintendents.
I too would like to welcome everyone this evening. It's always good to see so many familiar faces in the audience. I want to say to the administration at West Park, I was out there yesterday
from 6:30 to 7:40 in the morning, and I was in the back, I was in the front, I was all around. And I personally, I thought that it was running very smoothly yesterday morning, with the exception of one parent in the black vehicle that just stopped at the beginning of the semicircular driveway instead of Mr. Shevlin was doing a great job, he and Miss Lacey, of directing the cars to come down, as with all the PTA volunteers and everyone who was out there, and getting the kids out, and making sure they entered the gate. I want to give a shout out to that team, that whole team out there, because I was there and I thought, for what was that, day 2? I was very impressed with what I saw and I wasn't just there, like I said, for 15 minutes. I actually arrived in Rosamond at 5 a.m. And so I was there with my coffee and my iced tea by 6:30, ready to see what was going on. And I also want to say that prior to that change, I had received several phone calls from concerned parents, because I think in the front we had parents who were not wanting to give up a spot and not really understanding the impact that it was having on traffic flowing through, especially the parking area. And one of the concerns was not only for the students first and foremost, but for the entire staff and for the parents. Since Monday, I can say that 3 days so far, I have not had any phone calls saying it was good or bad. So I just want to say to you, Mr. Shevlin, and to Miss Lacey, kudos to you and your team for really, really being out there and doing your very best to make it a successful transition. So we will see how it goes after a few more days. I also wanted to let everyone know that on Monday, Southern Kern Unified School District made a substantial payment back to Kern County in the amount of $1,129,000 plus $28,369.45 in interest. So since July, I believe we actually made the first payment in August, we have paid back $1,826,359. Our balance now is $1.6 million, and we will be have paid back our debt to Kern County. So very excited anytime we can make a substantial payment like that. That was great news. Kudos to this entire administrative team, everybody, all of our classified staff who are really, really monitoring what they're working with and making sure that, and all the leaders, everybody, teachers especially. I know that we were able to give them only $100 at the beginning of this year for their supplies, and when you're buying supplies for a classroom, $100 is not a whole lot, but it was something. But in the long run, we can see that our efforts are paying off. So kudos to everybody who has been a part of that. And I want to remind my team that are here right now that we need to be back here at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, because all the principals and some of the Ed Services team and myself, there's 9 of us total, we're going to an equity symposium tomorrow morning in Bakersfield from 6 to about, it ends at 4:30. So it's probably going to be about from 6 to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to hear some good keynote speakers about equity and diversity in the classroom. So that's pretty much it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions on the consent items A through N? Jim? matter?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve consent items A through N.
Second by?
I'll second.
Second by Sanchez, all in favor? Aye. Student? Quarterly report.
We have not had any Williams complaints. We did have our Williams visits back in August, and we were found to be in compliance with sufficient curriculum and all of our facilities and taken care of.
That also covers A and B. We can now recess our hearing at 7:50. Do I hear a motion to go to recess? I'll make a motion to recess for, I need a second?
Second.
Second by Sanchez, all in favor? Aye. Does anyone in the audience have anything to say about the Williams?
Okay. There's been extensive discussions within the RTA Executive Board about the cleanliness of the campuses. I know we're down with custodians. I get that. Everybody's overworked and has a big job to do. But when classrooms aren't vacuumed for 2 weeks straight, when vomit's not being cleaned up within a reasonable amount of time, we've got issues. So we haven't filed a Williams complaint. I've discussed it with Mrs. Gaines, and she's put into place a plan of action, which we appreciate. And I've seen some improvement and look to have more of that. Again, and I emailed Mr. Hargis from CSEA, making sure he was, because I'm sure at some point they would hear that teachers are frustrated with some of this, and wanted to make sure that this is not a teacher custodian issue, and we don't want to make it a teacher custodian issue, but we need to have classrooms and campuses that are a place that students want to be and that teachers want to be in and working. And so we're going to have to continue to see what we can do to make it as good as possible under the current conditions. So, sorry I couldn't keep quiet.
No, thank you.
I tried.
We need to hear.
I will say that someone must have talked to Ms. Gaines, because there's been a pressure washer at our school every day for the last 2 weeks. And they're getting all that old nasty gum off the sidewalks. My ASB classroom that I go into every day for 5th and 6th period is vacuumed every day, and if there's paint that was spilled on the floor or on the tables, it's all wiped up, cleaned up. So I would say at our campus everything is looking well. And we said we're going over B too?
Yes.
Okay, because B, on our e-textbooks, laptops, technology, we do have issues. And at our high school, I really don't ever see backup textbooks if our laptop does need to go to IT for a few days. I don't.
They are not giving you a replacement laptop?
No. They usually tell us come back tomorrow morning. If it's not ready, then we'll have something for you. And usually don't have something for us. So.
Okay, anybody else? In that case, I will make a motion that we go back into our regular meeting. Second. Seconded by Mr. Tanksley. All in favor? Stu?
Aye.
At 7:54. And we will note both of those complaints. Thank you. Approve and adopt resolution 19-2001, Williams settlement, monitoring process for 2019 and 20. Certificate of compliance regarding sufficiency of instructional materials. Ms. Harkins.
And this is a resolution that that goes before the board for approval every year. And it basically says that we are certifying that we are compliant with sufficient materials.
Okay. Do I have a motion to?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So he's saying if their laptop is down and all their textbooks are on the laptop, there's nobody's making sure that they have alternative things. So where are the textbooks, the extra textbooks, the hard copies, where are they kept?
They should have textbooks within their classroom, but we certainly will check with IT and Mr. Wexler tomorrow and make sure that those laptops are available. Because each school site should have extra textbooks or extra laptops in the event of, something going down.
I was gonna say, we used to have that.
Right, so we'll just, it's just, we definitely will look into that tomorrow and make sure that that's.
Because if a student comes and says, I can't do my work because I don't have something, they need to be listened to.
Sure, most definitely.
What's that?
Do you want a table?
I think we just go ahead with it and then make sure that that is looked at.
Okay, we will, I will send him an email this evening.
And then I think we want to make the motion. Motion by Bender.
Yeah, I can't hear anything down here.
Make a motion for the, accepting the resolution.
Oh, okay.
The Williams thing? Yeah.
Do I hear a second?
And she said you're gonna find out some information on that?
Yeah, to make
I
sure
will,
that
I
we
will
have
email him
textbooks.
this evening, and since we'll be headed to Bakersfield early tomorrow morning, but I'll email him this evening, so he can definitely be looking into it tomorrow.
Okay. My second, third, fourth.
Only do it, motion.
Okay, I mean,
Do I hear a second?
Second, okay.
Ms. Robinson beat you. All in favor?
Aye.
Stu?
Aye.
Approve annual update, uniform complaint policy and procedure. Ms. Hargis.
And so, what this is just an annual update. Uniform complaints are complaints that can be filed by anybody, staff, students, parents, if they feel there's any kind of discrimination within any kind of program. So it's just some annual updates, just a little bit of verbiage addition, change. But this is a policy that's been in place, and we have it in both English and Spanish. We'll be working on updating our webpage and making sure that all of that is on there. And then, I was going to talk about you. So, and Williams complaint procedure, policies and procedure is exactly the same. It's just an update to, it's an annual update, and so Williams complaint can be filed if there's, teacher misassignments, something that is insufficient textbooks, something that is, unsanitary, those types of things are filed under Williams complaints, and then that is just discussing the policies and procedures of completing those complaints and who you file those complaints with.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve annual update of uniform complaint policies and procedures in English and Spanish.
Second. Second.
second.
Moved by Mr. Bender, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Stu? Approve annual update of Williams complaints, policies, procedures, English and so basically it's the second half of the first half. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Approved. Motion by Mr. Bender, seconded by Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Student.
Aye.
First reading of board policies. Ms. Gaines.
These board policies and administrative regs are for your first reading, and you'll notice that BP 4218.1 and AR 4218.1 apply to merit districts. We are not a merit district, so they're really not applicable to us, and they're just here for your first reading, and they will return again for a second reading next board meeting.
Okay. Who's our policy official?
So,
And who else? Revise organizational board meeting dates and times for December the 13th and the 28th.
Yes, sir. At my last superintendent's meeting in Bakersfield, schools legal advised us that we must, they made it very clear, it was politely done, but we must hold our organizational meeting between the dates December 13th through the 28th. Our meeting was scheduled for December 11th, and also during that time, we have to present the first interim for board approval, and it has to be board approved by December 15, which is a Sunday. So in order to meet both of those and being compliant with the organizational meeting and first interim, move our December 1 board meeting only to Friday, December 13th. That enables us to be in compliance with the first interim, and also to have our organizational meeting fall in between December 13th and December 28th. That way we can go home and have a nice holiday, not worried about organizational meeting or first interim. They'll both be done.
So you can't do on the 11th?
No, sir.
Friday the 13th and first interim.
Yeah, that's not a good combination.
We're hoping for good news, so, I mean, believe me.
I know, I'm looking at that. It's like,
The faces of every superintendent in there was very much like what I'm seeing for you right now. We were all like, oh my gosh. And then they topped it off by telling us that if we could not find a date, they'd help us find one. So I don't know about you, but it looks like if it starts on the 13th, and I have to have the first interim approved by the 15th, I have one day, and that's Friday the 13th.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're asking for the, this is just a discussion tonight. We'll bring it back next board meeting.
Yeah, I know, for years we've had it, that time, and done our first interim and everything, way before, and don't have a problem. What is their issue with?
You know, sir, I'm not really sure what their issue is. They didn't really, we do have some documentation here that we can provide everybody if you'd like from.
15 years and we've never.
Is it the period to contest the election? You don't want to reorganize until after the window to contest the election?
Probably. And so, and we don't really have
We don't,
an
okay, yeah.
election right now.
We are not on an election year. So.
Yeah.
But doesn't the election is official first Friday of December?
President Gutierrez, we will make copies for all the board members since it's only discussion tonight, and you can read maybe their explanation as to why we need to follow, unless we want, I mean, we can come back between.
On Friday.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
If we come back on the 16th through the 28th, we could do the organizational meeting, but we'd still have to meet.
Oh, I know we still have to have the report in by the 15th.
Right, so it's,
They just like, that's
to
it.
me, the only
To
day
me-
we could get both.
Well, I just find it, kind of crazy. If we don't like what we see on the report, and we need to do it, if there has to be any changes, you don't have any time to do it. I'm just,
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna pray that the report's gonna be fabulous.
Well, the numbers will be what the numbers will be, pretty much. And we have to be absolutely transparent with our numbers. And we are getting a new CBO, so I'm not gonna worry about it. We'll make it work.
Okay.
Just think about it Friday and we'll be done.
you'll have to. Approve resolution 19/2002 to designate the position of Chief Business Officer as Senior Management of Classification Services. And Classified Services. And I guess before we continue on, the board will now consider the proposal employment contract for the Chief Business Officer. Contract called for an initial base annual salary of $110,756, which shall be increased to $100,015 and $756 on July 1st, 2020, together with the annual master's degree stipend of $1,000. The terms of the contract running from October 3rd through October 3rd, 2019 through June 30th, 2021. The contract is based on a 225-day work year and include health benefits, health and welfare benefits as specified by management personnel, including $500,000 or $50,000 term life insurance coverage, and paid membership dues to the California Association of Business Officials. Okay, with that, the following, we need to vote on the resolution.
Make a motion to approve resolution 19-20-02.
I second it.
Seconded by Sanchez, all in favor?
Aye.
Now we can vote on the following personnel items. Does anybody have any questions on personnel?
These stipends for the football, the assistant football coach, are they already in play? They're just now coming through?
He was coach last year, he was assistant coach
But this year, so they've been coaching. We don't get this before the season starts, we get it during.
Well, they typically don't receive their stipends until
Right, they're already working, so we should have had it working before the season starts.
Might be a conflict if we voted no after the season's over, you know?
And I think, sir, that, I think you did have them before, but I think there was, there may have been a split stipend between the assistant coaches. So they had to repost it, even though I believe the same people are still working. It's the same people.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Entertain a motion?
A motion that we accept the employees, classified employee, and all this stuff.
Okay, motion by Robinson, seconded by?
I'll second.
Mr. Bender, all in favor? Aye.
Mr. President, with that vote from the Board of Trustees, you have just approved our contract for our new CBO, and I would like to introduce him at this time, Mr. Jonathn Barth. Welcome, Jonathan. And he will be getting with us first thing tomorrow morning.
Welcome. Okay, one more piece of business. Mr. Moore.
Hang on, don't jump too far.
Okay, go ahead.
I got a couple questions of things that were brought up today. I was really surprised that Mr. Quillman brought that up, that our teachers and our staff that's working it was not involved in any decision-making on that. That's hard to really believe that they get a letter one day telling them to report to curb 6 and do your duty. I mean, that's pretty heartbreaking. They put a lot of hard work into that over the years. I've watched them over the years out there working, directing traffic, doing all that they do, and they deserve their voice being heard. They've got some good ideas, and we need to take in everybody's suggestions. And I know there's a final decisions can be done by whoever, but we need to listen to people that are actually out there working. I hope that Mrs. Gaines, that you look into that, and I hope somewhere that was just something that was a little slipped through the cracks, and we can fix that, because like Mr. Quillman said, there's not a teacher that's going to walk off just because their time's up and there's students sitting out there. There's not a parent that would do that either if they're volunteering. They want to make sure everybody gets home safe and everything's done right. So to me, it's almost like disrespecting them a little bit, and I don't want that. We're going through a rough time. We're paying back money to teachers, and our staff has sacrificed a lot. We don't want to show them any disrespect by not asking their opinion on stuff. I hope that you can address your principals at your school sites on that matter, and also on the cleanliness of our schools. The principals need to know, to me, I think, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but I think they need to know what their staff's doing at night, their janitorial staff, and making sure that stuff's being done. If they're, I know everybody's working hard and we're understaffed, we really did it, but if we need to make some improvements, we need to start knowing about them now so we can fix that stuff when we're out of debt. And one more thing I wanted to ask. When we talked about last year getting rid of the prep academy, I was told that these students from Abraham Lincoln Railroad will have the opportunity to play sports and go into the high school if they're meeting their grades. Is that still true?
They can through Abraham Lincoln. They are not eligible through Railroad.
They're not eligible through Railroad still. And also, can they take these elective classes? If they're meeting their requirements, they're doing what they're supposed to, they can't go over and take our auto shop class or our
I believe they
welding class?
They can.
They
We
can't
have
do
a
that?
number of kids either in construction trades, auto mechanics, welding, drama, art.
So they can go over there and receive that?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as there's room at the high school for them in the classroom, they're always welcome.
Okay, good. That's all I have.
Now we make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion by Moore, seconded by Sanchez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Some rest.